afternoon, Mr. Mitton. Thank you so much that you accepted the interview. And let me thank you one more time for your participation in the Stolypin forum in the September. We consider that the BRITEthink Academy is one of the most high-tech education platforms and would appreciate if you could share your approach with us. So, the first question, what is the BRITEthink Academy? What is the difference between the BRITEthink approach and ordinary practice of distance learning, i.g. Coursera, online universities, subscription courses, and etc.?
So BRITEthink Academy, when we originally set it up, it was to support students going into university. But what happened after that was we decided to run parallel to the university course. So if we have a look at that parallel feature first, there was a problem that we were trying to solve where there was a lot of people leaving university with academic accreditations, but not the skill to apply it. So I would say that's one of the core things that makes us a little bit different. We run parallel to other courses. I always imagine it as, say, for example, when a student is at university learning something like marketing. Now, what BRITEthink Academy could be teaching parallel to their marketing degree could be digital marketing techniques, understanding web analytics, cybersecurity. So when the student leaves the university, they come out with this really well-rounded group of qualifications. We're different in many other ways as well. And I think the core thing that defines us is that we're really passionate about personalized learning and these personal touches. When we built the course, we wanted the students to have interaction with a tutor, but we knew that modern day life, no one is able to always log in at 11 a.m. or at 2 p.m. all at the same time. Our learners have families, work, etc. So we decided to build the academy with all the pre-recorded lessons. And then instead of using the tutors to do designated teaching at designated times, the tutor's there between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. every weekday. And they're able to chat to the learners via chat, WhatsApp, on the actual platform. And it's really surprising because it's actually built up some really solid relationships with our learners. We understand them a lot more. We've been able to get them through the course a lot more. And that's been really important during lockdown as well. When students found themselves all in these difficult situations, that personal rapport allowed us to really support them and make sure they completed the course, as opposed to a situation where they may have dropped out on a traditional learning method. So yeah, it really goes down to this personalized learning. And the only way we achieve that is through diagnostics and understanding what the learner wants at the beginning and putting them on the right path. And even if it's a generic course that we offer, it's about tailor making that course. So the materials are all there, pre-recorded for everyone, but it's those interactions that they have with the tutors on a fluid basis that really makes us different.
Thank you so much. As I understand this, mostly all distance learning nowadays is a tutor, speakerhead who only speaks but not able to provide the quality control of the education. So as I understand, you have your own information platform that provides new opportunities and personal approach.
My co-founder is a developer, so we're quite good. Our organization was made up of 3 co-founders. I come from a teaching training background. One of my other co-founders is this psychologist background. That's great for understanding these learner behaviors. And the third co-founder is a developer. So we're able to combine these disciplines and yeah, make our own platform. And you know what? And it's a lot more affordable than I think people think. You don't have to code something from scratch anymore. There's opportunities to buy, LMS plugins and just have a developer code certain parts of it to make it unique for your website. And that's pretty much the approach we went down. I mean, now we've seen the success of BRITEthink. Our next phase is to completely build something ourselves. But what we've built to take us through to this stage has been parts of it being our own code, parts of it being off-the-shelf things, and we put it together. because when we made this, we didn't know it would work, and I don't think we realized the power of it until we went into lockdown. So if I was to say to any educator, these options are available, and I think we just live in a world right now where, there's a lot of technology that's open source. You can do these things, but I think if you want to do it, that's the way to do it. Like you said, just a tutor putting a video up and asking a question doesn't work. You don't have the engagement. You don't know about what the student's doing. You need this back end to work for you. And that's the power of it. That's what will get an institution the more completion rates, if anything. I mean, not every class is the same, right? But, in some classes, students don't put their hand up, or they don't question because they're often embarrassed, or, these things happen. But in online learning, you can use measures to understand that. So yeah, it does provide you with more controls. And it just provides you with, like I said, it's always going back to this understanding, this personal touch. I think just being able to, like, if I look at BRITEthink right now, I could go into the back end of our system and I could see the learners who did a certain exercise yesterday, and I could see how long it took some learners to do. Some learners, it took 20 minutes, some took an hour. Some took 5 minutes, and I could see they totally rushed it, right? I can also see if they've gone back to the same lesson a few times, and that's important. I think as a teacher, if you say had a class of 30 people and you did half of it online or all of it online, just understanding, oh, that learner there, he's gone back and watched that lesson again and again. Maybe I need to send him a little message to say, just checking in on you. And I think it's this control and fluidity and self-managing.
What is the model you work with the United Kingdom universities? What opportunities to the students do you provide?
So our model with the universities is we work with the university. I guess you could say we support the university. BRITEthink Academy, it can be its own standalone thing. We have learners that come on board and just learn with us. But for the students that are going through university, well, the university is our customer in a way, as well as the student. And we often feel that we can give the universities who partner with us that unique selling point. I'm not sure about Russia, but in the UK, the higher education market, I would say, is quite competitive. And, a university needs to sometimes offer more to sort of gain that retention from the student. If I just go back to what I mentioned in the first question, where we support a lot of our students to go into university. So imagine the first part of the relationship is the university receives an application from a student and they don't quite meet the credits to get into the university. So they come through BRITEthink Academy and we give them the credits to then pass back to the university. Now, what's really interesting at that point is we are building the trust with the student from day one. So this student got rejected from the university and they came to us, and our sort of personalized approach in learning helped develop their English. That's for national and international students, and build them up. Now, what we promise to do once we've got the student into the university is we keep their accounts open and they can access our coaches throughout their entire degree. Now, I know you could say the university offers those features as well, which they do, and they're fantastic. But you have to think right back to the beginning. When those students were originally rejected from the university, we built their trust back up. We developed them. So what happens a lot more is the students come back to us for the help and we build them through their degree as well. So this is what I mean, going back to that first question, is running parallel in the fact that we offer additional subjects, but also just down to, pinging us up on the website to say, I'm a bit stuck in this. So I would like to always call us as this support mechanism, this support feature for UK universities. I think we work hand in hand. And I think this just goes back to maybe a new model of education where this personalization approach and building a relationship is important, which some universities can't offer. So BRITEthink Academy can be that support and help the university to be unique and different.
Mr. Mitton, and do you provide a postgraduate education? As we know, you have some projects in technical skills education. What is your approach to the lifelong learning?
Our approach to lifelong learning is really strong. We believe in it. And I think especially in this modern day world where a degree, maybe a while ago you were sorted for life, but in an ever-changing world, you need to keep up with your curriculum. And I think this really goes back to me referring to the last two questions about this. We keep the learner's account open because once they've gone through university, their membership with us stays with us. Their membership with us is free. But with lifelong learning, it's the core skills they get afterwards. So I kind of mentioned in question one, if I look at that example of a marketing student coming out of a marketing degree, then parallel to that degree, we can teach them elements of digital marketing and cybersecurity, for example. But then even after the degree's finished, maybe 6 months down the line, a year down the line, they might want to upgrade those certificates, to which we can offer additional courses. So maybe a higher course in digital marketing, or even some things like down to like annual updates, because especially when you look at some industries, technology is rapidly evolving them. And sometimes students want an update on, say, how technology is improving their industry, and that keeps them in the spotlight for recruitment. That's also applicable to one of our sister colleges, which is more about care, healthcare and things like this, where those courses do need these annual updates. So our approach to lifelong learning is something that's very passionate. I think the fact that we keep the accounts open and students can come back in, it's almost like this dip. You can get what you want, you don't have to take it, it's up to you. But that's it. Our relationship with the students continue. And I think that has been the thing that's helped us to grow at this level. Those relationships, they stay with us. I often refer to it a little bit like banking. Sometimes you bank with the same bank all your life. When you're young, you have a junior account. When you go to university, here in the UK anyway, you open a student account. When you get your job, you get your mortgage. The bank stays with you for life. It's the products and services that you take from the bank that changes throughout your life. And that's how I think education should be. You stay with the same place. BRITEthink would stay with you. But as you grow through life, our services change.
And do you plan to expand? Any plans in CIS and in Russia? Do you provide opportunities to Russian tutors or students?
We went to the United Arab Emirates earlier on this year, back when flying was a lot more easier, to sort of scope the market. And we found there was a need to have these, these post-oil and now post-COVID skills of these digitalization skills, which is what we're setting up there. We're running a pilot right now with the intention of having it launching in January and February. So that's going to be really key to us. But what's interesting is looking at the type of people that work in the Arab Emirates and looking at migration and how we can upskill those workers as well. And that's what we want to do. I would like to see BRITEthink as something which can be operated in different countries. In terms of the Russian market, we're at the moment working to have a look if we can partner with someone to collaborate, even if it's just for research and development or to pilot what we do here in the UK. Obviously, it's going to be different in Russia, but I think to learn from each other is going to be important on that one. And I think if we were to look at what we could offer to Russian students, I mean, I always think it's really important to have these transcultural skills, which is what I think we can work in. Learning from a Russian institute and which is part of a British partnership is great, because in this ever globalized world where we can be on a meeting like we are right now, working with different cultures, I think if we embed that in the learning, by the time a student graduates, they understand about working with different people and these collaboration skills. I think what we're also really proud of as well is capacity building the teachers, which is something that we're actually in the process of doing in the UAE and potentially in Russia. So looking at technical vocational education, for example, it's supporting maybe vocational tutors on how they could implement the practices that we offer. So, you know, maybe we offer more of that, this business to business to like an institution, to show that, again, learning from different cultures and understanding how different people do things differently. I think that's kind of important in this, like I said, this globalized world. So we're really excited to be sort of taking this step now and looking at Russia. We've opened eyes, right, to see what's out there. And hopefully we can offer, like I said, two things. This sort of globalized approach to learning for the student, but also potentially working with partners to develop the vocational teacher. And I think that's what's important, because if we get it right with the teacher, then we leave a legacy, right? This type of learning can then be taken everywhere. And that's what's important to us. It's not just our growth. I think it's understanding how vocational learning can work with universities and how it can be developed as well.
How did the COVID-19 pandemic influence the education in the United Kingdom? As we know, there are some epidemic restrictions. Did this make the distance learning more popular among the students and teachers?
In the United Kingdom, we weren't prepared for it. If anything, it's propelled our teachers to understand that online learning needs to be taken a lot more seriously. If I just look at it in general, I think what the United Kingdom has in place right now is short-term solutions. You know, all of a sudden we were thrown into this, and a lot of schools and vocational institutions went straight onto Zoom, you know, and all these different things. I think what they're looking for right now is something that they can use long-term. In terms of us, I guess you could say we were in the right place at the right time. If we look at how our situation developed between March and June of this year, we gained around 750 to 800 students on BRITEthink Academy, which was a rapid growth from what we'd had previously. And that's because alongside us, our partner institutions at the university level did work with other colleges, but they had to completely shut down. Whereas we were 100% online and ready to go. So our situation took us to this level where we actually, throughout the period where we moved our offices into our homes, and we built more content and we made more, and our student base grew. And what's happening now is other people are seeing how we did it and sort of asking for support, or asking us to make their online version of their school digitalized. So the UK knows that this is sort of the future. And it's interesting, if I go back to that capacity training as well, we've started working with another partner here in the UK, Evolve, to help train vocational teachers to deliver online, to deliver these technical skills, to understand what gamification is, to understand what personalized learning is, how the analytics from the platform can support the learning experience. And that's something that I think is really interesting for me after COVID. I've been saying this for a long time, and it's only really now that fellow people in my network are saying, actually, Robert, you're right. I've always said that online learning isn't everything. You know, we still have to have offline learning. But if you make a really good online platform, and your platform can understand your students well, the data and the analytics that platform can give you as a tutor can really change your offline learning. Because what you can get off the online platform is how long they spent on a video lesson, how long did they spend on that page, did they take longer to do it, did they do this? You pull all these analytics together, and the tutor, whether it's like BRITEthink online, will understand about the learner, but more importantly, the teacher in the classroom can really get to know the learner a lot more. And that goes back to then implementing personalization in the offline world too.
Dear Mr. Mitton, thank you so much for the opportunity to take the interview with you, and we really appreciate it for we continue communications, and we'll hear some news about your project, and maybe you someday you'll come to Russia. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was great to chat to you, and yeah, we are all very passionate. You know, we came together to make BRITEthink, and I think for us, learner completion is the heart of what we do. And yeah, that's why we're always changing it. You know, it's our platform is never finished. I guess we learn from learners and we rebuild it, and that's the beauty of what it all is.